Welcome to Life Purpose by Design. Our topic for today is God is our very present help. We are beginning a new series entitled God Is. The God Is series is a way for us to take a deeper dive or discover a deeper meaning of the ways that God reveals himself to us through our personal relationships, but also how he reveals himself to us through the lived experiences. The world that we know it as today is changing with each passing moment, particularly with the invasion of the pandemic, the coronavirus, across the landscape of our world. And you, like me, may have many questions, and you may have more questions than answers. One of the things that I was just contemplating is, how do I keep my family safe? How do I keep my home environment safe? How do we go through the things that we have to go through at the same time, not to give in to the fear and the panic that can so easily disrupt our ability to maintain our peace and to maintain our joy. So as I'm going through my daily routine of sanitizing my hands, practicing social distancing and staying in place with no visitors allowed, and probably to the annoyance of my family members who have to go out because of work-related responsibilities, trailing them literally around the house to see whether or not they are washing their hands and doing the things that they need to do. And one of the things that God has been dealing me with is that his protection and his safety is bigger than that. And so I'm really excited about the series about God Is and all the different ways that he's going to reveal himself to us in all the different manifestations of the authority and the powers of God. So today, as we take a deeper dive into God is our very present help, I want us to step back a little bit and look at, who is God to you? Who is God to me? Can we trust his faithfulness? And the answer to that is yes. We can trust the faithfulness of God. God has ever been and will ever be who he says he is. God says that I am the great I am. God says I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. God says I was here from the beginning and I will be here to the end. So I want to encourage you today that despite everything that's going on in the world, despite the panic and the fear and the doubt and the moments of uncertainty that we may all experience, we have a loving God who is always present to help us. I think of the times when the storm and the disciples was in the boat with Jesus, and when the storm arose, rightfully so, everyone was panicking and wondering, Jesus, how can you take a nap during this time? But Jesus, remember, was in the boat with them. And so that is a assurance that you and I can have today, that no matter what our boat looks like, no matter what the storms of life look like, Jesus is in the boat with us. And while we think he's asleep, while we think he's not aware of everything that's going on around us, because he is an all-knowing God, he knew about these days before any one of them came to be. The word even tells us that God says, I shaped and formed you in your mother's womb. I ordained your days before you, before any one of your days, before you even took your first breath. So be encouraged today that as we are faced with the storm of the coronavirus, we can rest in the assurance that the God who is our Alpha and Omega, the God who is our beginning and our end, the God who says, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. He is in the boat with us, and he is speaking, not that he will speak in the future. He is currently speaking, peace, be still. It may not sound like, look like there's peace right now in our lives with all of the infection rates going up. The death rates are going up, the lack of medical supplies, everyone is being taxed and stretched to the utmost limits. But when we are stretched beyond our limits, beyond our abilities, beyond our comfort zones, that's when Jesus steps in. He stands up in the boat of our lives and he simply says, peace, be still. So I just want to encourage you to press your way into God's presence, spend more time in prayer, more time in the word, but also spend time reaching out to others, encouraging them. For those who do not, personally, do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, what a great opportunity to reach out to them through social media, through phone calls, through text, all the different tools that God has availed to us to carry his message of love and hope to an ever-watching and an ever-changing world. One thing has not changed, and that is Jesus Christ is still Lord, yesterday, today, and forever. So during this time, remember that Jesus is in a boat with us, and he will say, peace, be still, and everything will have to respond to the will and the purposes and the authorities of God. Be blessed today, and just be encouraged that Jesus is in your boat and peace is being still. Be blessed, and God still reigns.